You exercised a freedom they don't have. If you're going to be in here, you're going to apologize to every black person in this room. And do it now.
I'm
And
sorry.
as a white female, when you get tired of being judged and treated unfairly on the basis of your eye color, you can walk out that door. And you know it won't happen out there. Latinos, every person of color.
Racism, this country.
Bullshit! No, you're not going to say, I'm sorry there's racism. You're going to apologize for what you just did.
I will not apologize because it is
Out.
not a matter of race always.
Out! Perception is everything. White people look vicious and ugly and non-caring and cruel and arrogant and powerful and condescending and angry. Are you angry?
No.
Oh, good for you. Are you angry?
Trying not to.
Trying not to be. Now, does that take a lot of energy?
Yes.
Yes. Are you holding it in?
Yes.
Yes. And are you trying really, really hard not to react to me?
Yes.
Yes. And are you trying really hard not to look at me?
At the moment, yes.
Yes. Why?
Because I don't want to make myself more upset.
You don't want to make yourself more upset by looking at me.
Yes.
Right. Does that take a lot of time, a lot of energy?
Yes.
Yes. Is that hard for you?
Yes.
Could you develop an ulcer over this?
No.
If you had to do it every day, what would happen to your blood pressure?
It would rise.
Yeah. If somebody stood over you and you knew it was going to happen every day, or you expected it to happen every day, or it happened when you didn't expect it to, or it happened to your kids every day, after it happened to your mother every day. Now, getting right along, your hand is still up. You still didn't learn anything, did you? Didn't I just say when your hand is up, you are thinking of what you're going to say instead of what's being said? Didn't I just say that?
Yes, you did.
And did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
And did you decide that you were just going to do it your way?
I was.
Wait a
listening
minute,
to
you were on a roll
yes,
there for a minute.
I did.
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
I did.
Now, since you choose to not listen to others, what do you suppose we're going to do where you're concerned?
Now, listen to me.
Thank you very much.
May I finish what I was saying,
no,
please?
because you're still thinking of what you're going to say instead of what I'm saying. Now, getting right along.
I heard what you were saying.
You're doing it
I
again.
understand what you were
You're
saying.
doing it again.
I don't care.
You're doing it
because
again.
It's wrong.
You're
And you
doing it again.
Persecuted her for standing
You're
out.
doing it again.
Persecuted him for standing out. The only change that ever happens is when people stand out, and I have to stand back.
Martin Luther King Jr. was shot. Are you in any physical danger here? Are you in any physical danger here? Is that girl in any physical danger here? Emmett Till was hanged by his neck after he was beaten almost to death.
There is a video that I want us to talk about. I think you know Jane Elliott. You're not hearing the word for the first time, right? So this is the thing. There is a study, or there is an experiment that Dr. Jane Elliott tried to carry. It's called the blue eyes, brown eyes. The main aim of this experiment was, if white people are subjected to the same factors that black folks are also subjected, what will be their reaction? Let me tell you something. Their reaction was so revealing. Their reaction, we had students that were breaking down, crying, and all those stuff, right? Why is this study so important? This study is really, really important because the Jane Elliott's blue eyes, brown eyes experiment, which was first conducted the day after Martin Luther King Jr.'s assessment in 1968, this still remains one of the most powerful illustrations of how arbitrary or socially constructed systems of racial hierarchy can have deeply psychological and emotional effects on individuals. By dividing her third grade class into groups based on eye color and giving one group privilege while demeaning the other, Elliott created a controlled microcosm of systemic discrimination. Our white students, many of whom had never experienced marginalization, quickly absorbed their roles, either internalized inferiority or enacting superiority, proving that prejudice is a learned behavior, not an inherent one. One of the most important things about this study that he tried to give was that he tried to see that racism is a learned behavior, because this is something that these kids most definitely had from their parents or had from somewhere, somebody who is so much closer to them, somebody that they live with. So, and when they were also they were subjected to the same conditions that black folks have already been subjected. Some of them you saw crying, breaking down, and all this reveals a number of things. That there is a part that parenting, plays a role in perpetuating racism. Well, you need to know that a lot of, especially black families, black kids are sensitized to deal with all these things because it has never been fair for them, right? At least, while white family, I'm not saying all, but we have exemptions. Some white families, they are not taught these factors. And what does this mean? This means that they are insensitive to what they say. They are insensitive on how they treat other students who are non-white. So let's watch the video. I'll be back and then I'll be sharing my thoughts at the end of it all. If you're watching it for the first time, kindly consider subscribing to the channel, join our membership, and really get so we can offer you. But until then, let's watch the video. I'll be back.
Simply because he made a statement to a white woman. Every time I do the exercise, there is a point at which I know I have made the point. And we could stop there, but you have to nail it down. And so it goes on longer than some people think it should, but you have to nail it down. People at this institution...
You've made your point, you're right.
Yeah, thank you very much. What is my point that I've made?
That you can't make generalizations about any place because there's racism everywhere.
That's right. And while it may be... No. You don't come back in here until you've apologized to every person in this room. Because you just exercised a freedom that none of these people of color have. When these people of color get tired of racism, they can't just walk out, because there's no place in this country where they aren't going to be exposed to racism. They can't even stay in their own homes and not be exposed to racism if they turn on the television. But you, Latinos, every person of color...
racism, this country...
Bullshit! No, you're not going to say, I'm sorry there's racism. You're going to apologize for what you just did.
I will not apologize because it is not a matter of race always.
Out! Out! Now, is she choosing to leave? Yes. She could apologize and stay.
I won't play the wrong game anymore.
It ain't gonna hurt her. It's not gonna hurt her to apologize.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
What's going on in this room alone? Once she leaves it, that's it. It's over with.
Okay? They ain't gonna hurt her. Is it gonna hurt her?
She, according to her action, it's killing her.
Yes. They can't learn. And if they succeed, who has failed? We have. Do you people want to fail? No. If they get power, who loses power? We do. Do you want to lose power? No. For 400 years in this country, we've been basing our judgment of people on the color of their skin. Eye color and skin color are caused by the same chemical, melanin. If you have a lot of melanin in your hair, your skin, and your eyes, you have very dark hair, very dark eyes, and very dark skin. If you have only a little melanin in your skin, your hair, and your eyes, you have light skin, light hair, and light eyes. These people all have too little melanin in their eyes. So obviously, they aren't as smart as we are. We're going to accuse them of not being as smart as we are. We're going to accuse them of not being as clean as we are. We're going to lower our expectations for them. We're going to force them to live down to our expectations of them. And when they do, we're going to blame their inability to perform on the color of their eyes. Now, in order to get them into their adult ego state, we're going to try to teach them the listening skills. Now, what do we call men that we want to keep in their childlike state? Boy. We're going to call these males boy. You're not going to use their given name. You're going to call them boy. Or you're going to call them bluey. Or you're going to call them fool. Now, people, what do we call women besides chicks? Honey, baby, gal, doll face, doll, dumpling.
That's the catering band.
That means all food's here.
Means it's either all here or they packed it up.
You can't not feed us.
We are going to give them no respect. How many of you have friends in that group? Let me put it this way. How many of you used to have friends in that group? Because some of these people are going to leave here very angry. Because they choose to be angry. And if they say to you, that made me mad, and I'll never forgive you for that, you need to say to them, you had it for 2.5 hours one day. One day in your life, you had it for 2.5 hours, and you're still angry about it. How often? How often have you been discriminated against on the basis of the color of your skin? Number of days? More than once in your lifetime?
Oh yeah.
More than 2.5 hours in your lifetime?
Since the day I was born.
Since the day you were born. Has it happened to you recently? What?
Let's see, can you do something like, yeah, this. See what he says. Cover up the, just pile the square in front of her.
Can you put the chairs back the way they were? Put the chairs back the way they were.
White people's number one freedom in the United States of America is the freedom to be totally ignorant about those who are other than white. We don't have to learn about those who are other than white. And our number two freedom is the freedom to deny that we're ignorant. Today we're going to take away these people's freedom to be ignorant. I want you to understand how the system works. And believe me, this is how the system works. We make laws to support white superiority and to reinforce white superiority, and when you catch on to how it works, then we change the laws. I didn't invent this exercise. I learned this from Adolf Hitler. One of the ways they decided who went into the gas chamber was eye color. This exercise is not without precedent.
Let's go, people.
Okay, let's go.
Now look at this, watch him.
Should we just sit anywhere?
Look at him. Should we just sit anywhere? Should we just sit anywhere? If you came into a room in which the chairs were arranged in this way, and the brown-eyed people were sitting in these chairs in this way, and nobody was sitting in the chairs in the middle, where would you sit? In the middle. That would make sense to me. Would it make sense to you? Where are you going? Get in the blue-eyed section. The blue-eyed section is in the middle of the room. Get there. You're a non-brown? As far as I'm concerned, you're a bluey. Now, is this one giggling? What do you know about him? It's because he's ignorant? What else do you know about him? He's in his little child's ego state, isn't he? Get up here and sit down on the floor. You too, get up here and sit down on the floor.
I was really tired when I entered the room, but I didn't have any expectations. I was just sitting there and wondering how it could be an emotional experience because I had signed the paper that had warned me about ulcers and stress conditions and things like this, so I was curious, and there were a few mumbles about how it was going to go.
What are you two going to do?
Probably line up in front of them.
That's right. They're waiting for someone to take care of them. They're in their child ego state. What are you going to do?
Suppose we sit down. Okay. Sit down too. I don't want the last one. You have food yet?
What do you do? What do you say when you walk in front of someone?
Excuse me.
Try it.
Okay. Excuse me.
Certainly.
Thank you. I don't think anybody really knew what was going to happen. Nobody told us ahead of time. They just told us to show up at a certain time.
It didn't take very long before intimidation set in and before my buttons were pushed.
Now, while I've been talking, some of you have been sitting there reading the signs. I'm not going to put up with that any longer. So you in the back row, stand up and read the first sign on that wall back there.
Only brown eyes need apply.
Read it so we can hear you.
Only brown eyes need apply.
Next. Stand up and read the next sign. Oh, watch this one. Watch this one, kids. Watch this. Sit down again, then stand up for us. Stand up. That's better. Now, read the next sign.
Blue eyes shouldn't hold political office.
Next.
Why can't a blue eye be more like a brown?
Read it again. Get it right this time.
Why can't a blue eye be more like a brown?
Read it again. Get it right this time. Pronounce each one of those words correctly as they're written.
Why can't a blue eye be more like a brown?
What's the word in front of blue?
A.
That's the letter A. What word is that? Read it over and get it right.
Why can't a blue eye be more like a brown?
Now, practice one more time.
Why can't a blue eye be more like a brown?
Next.
Louis, don't let
Oh, look at this. Did I tell you it was fun to watch blue-eyed people? Next.
I'm not prejudiced. Some of my best friends are blue-eyed.
How many of you have ever heard that one before in another form? Oh, yes. Favorite claim of liberals, right? Yes. I'm not prejudiced. Some of my best friends are black. Has any person ever said to you, any good liberal person ever said to you, when I see you, I don't see you black?
Every day!
Every damn day! How many of you have had that experience? When I see you, I don't see you black. And what do you say to them when they say that?
But I am.
But I am. And then what do they say?
They say, but I don't see color.
I don't see color. How many of you think they do see color? Well, people, if they didn't see color, they wouldn't say, when I see you, I don't see you black, because they wouldn't see black, would they? So you immediately know that they're lying, don't you? Yes. Yeah, they are lying. They're saying, I don't see your color.
You can't say, I don't see color, because then you'd be saying it in black and white. And that would be a really weird world to see. If everything was black and white, we would be some really messed up people.
It happens to me on a daily basis in the institution I'm at, and there's really no way around it, because whether people do it intentionally or not, what am I supposed to do?
You don't have to take that. And I take it you don't take it. Good for you. Good for you, because as long as you say, oh, thank you. And do you know black people who would say, oh, thank you? Yes. How many of you know black people who would say, oh, thanks. I'm glad you don't see me black. I'm glad you don't see my color. Your skin is only the largest organ on your body, right?
Probably the part of the exercise I had the most trouble with was when I was forced to realize that I have something that I didn't want to give up, that I'm in a position that other people aren't in. You know, there are other people in my position, but not everybody has that, and that it's not fair for me to protect that.
On the day these white kids are in this exercise, they see themselves as other people see them for the first time in their lives. Do you know the physical aspects of the listening skills?
Afraid not.
You're afraid not? What about you?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. What about you?
A bit.
A bit?
Yes.
A bit?
Yes.
Well, tell me what the bit is that you know.
The bit that I know is that you stand up straight, you look at the person who's speaking, and you pay attention to what they're saying.
What if you're sitting down?
I am sitting down.
Then you can't listen, right?
No, you can listen by sitting down.
Oh, you just said you stand up straight?
I said you sit up straight.
You did she say you sit up straight, or did she say you stand up straight? Is this a universal problem with blue-eyed people? You have a paper and pencil with you?
No.
Do you?
Over in my bag, maybe.
Over in your bag?
Yes.
Why is it in your bag?
Because that's where I keep it.
That's where you keep it.
When
Why
I'm not
did you put
using
your paper and pencil over there?
Because I did not know when I was going to be needing it.
You came to a learning experience, right?
Yes.
Did you ever go to a learning experience before?
Yes.
Did you ever take notes?
Yes.
What did you use?
I used a paper and pencil.
Paper and pencil. And did you keep it with you so that you could take notes?
Yes.
Yes. Why didn't you do that this time?
Because I was not planning on taking notes.
You weren't planning on taking notes? You
No.
think you can remember everything that's going to be done in here and said in here?
Not word for word.
Not word for word, so what should you have done?
I
Probably, she's going to say, I probably should have done it right. What should you have done?
should have brought my paper and pencil over here and kept it with me
That's
the entire
right.
time.
That's right. You're acting angry.
I am angry.
What are you angry about?
I'm angry that you're yelling at me.
Do you hear me yelling? This is yelling! Have I done that yet?
Okay, you're using a stern voice and
Are
it's making me angry.
you defining me?
No, I am not defining
Is she
you.
defining me? Does she say I'm yelling when I'm not? Perception is everything. Do you feel like I'm yelling at you?
Yes.
Yes, why?
Because you're using a stern voice.
A stern? Honey, it isn't my fault you're stupid.
Would you like me to go get my paper and pencil?
I wouldn't like you in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, then that's fine.
Let's get that understood here.
Okay.
This isn't a matter of whether I like you or not. Repeat after me. One hen.
One hand.
One hen, two, not hand, hen. 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 Lays eggs. One hen.
One hen.
One hen, two ducks.
One hen, two ducks.
One hen, two ducks, three squawking geese.
One hen, two ducks, three squawking geese.
One hen, two ducks, three squawking geese, four limerick oysters.
One hen, two ducks, three squawking geese, four Hemerick oysters.
Hemerick oysters?
I'm sorry.
Limerick oysters.
Limerick oysters.
One hen, two ducks, three squawking geese, four limerick oysters, five corpulent porpoises. You can remember everything, honey.
No,
this isn't hard for you. Go for it.
One hen, two ducks, three squawking geese, four Limerick oysters, five, I forget the other one. I'm sorry.
So maybe you would have been better off if you could have taken notes for this, right?
I do not find the need to take notes for that.
I'm going to ask you to remember this for the rest of this time. Next one. 6 pairs of Darnell Varsies tweezers. Start with 1.
One hen, two ducks, three squawking geese, four Limerick oysters, 5, I do not know, 6, I forget.
You're going to have to know this. I'm going to keep testing you on this. What would be a good idea for you to have?
Paper and pencil.
Paper and pencil. Therein lies the beginning of wisdom. Now, 7,000 Macedonians in full battle array. Start from 1.
There was no other numbers other than 1, 2, 3, 4.
Start with 1. 1.
Hen. 2 ducks. 3 squawking geese. 4 Limerick oysters. 5, I still don't remember that number. 6, I still don't remember that. And 7,000, whatever you said. I'm sorry.
8 brass monkeys from the ancient sacred crypts of Egypt. Start with 1. Do you wish you had a paper and pencil?
No.
Do you think you're going to need one if I keep testing you on that?
Yes.
Then are you going to wish you had a paper and pencil?
Yes.
Yes. So in the future, what are you going to do when you go to a learning situation?
Bring a paper and pencil.
And keep it with
Me.
you. Did you learn anything?
Yes.
Do you appreciate what you just learned?
Yes.
Did you like the way it was taught?
No.
No. Any of the rest of you ever taught in that fashion?
Yeah.
Yes. And did you have to express appreciation for it? Yeah. Could you learn something from her example? What are you crying about?
Sorry.
What are you crying about?
My feelings were hurt.
How were your feelings hurt?
Just weird.
Should I feel sorry for her?
I don't expect you to.
Should I feel sorry for her? Some of you are thinking, oh, this is too harsh for this young woman. James Byrd, black man in Texas, dragged to death behind a pickup truck by 3 white males. Matthew Shepard, young man about you're a little younger than you are, had the misfortune to be born gay, beaten with a pistol about the head until they cracked his skull. And then they hung him on a deer fence and left him there overnight. And somebody coming along on a bicycle the next day saw a bunch of clothing hanging on this deer fence, and they went over and started to take the clothing off the deer fence and found a body in the clothing. Now, I'm sorry, but those things happen because we live in a society in which people are allowed to treat those who are different in an ugly way because of their differentness. I cannot shed tears for a young white female in this exercise who knows that this is an exercise, who knows that it's temporary, who knows that she's getting a college credit, 1 hour of credit for being here. I'm sorry. I have to save my sympathy and my empathy for those who go through something much worse than this every day of their lives. And when they complain about it, we say, you took it wrong. Or we say, it wasn't racism. You feel real sorry for her?
Not really.
Not really. Why not?
Well, because she really didn't. I don't see where she was hurt in any way. I mean.
But don't define her. But as far as you're concerned, is this tough?
It's tough as you make it.
Yeah, but could you do this?
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah. Have you ever been in the situation they're in?
Sometimes, yes.
Yes. And would crying have gotten you out of it?
No.
No. And would crying have gotten you sympathy?
Not really.
And would that have solved the problem?
No.
No. And would somebody have said, get over it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tears were coming in my eyes, and when I saw these people cry, and I'm like, but it wasn't for them. It was for the fact that I know people who are going through that right now while we were sitting in that classroom and had the privilege and the time, the opportunity to be going through an experiment, that there are people outside who go through that 10 times worse than any student of color in that room.
You don't know which sign to read, do you?
Blue eyes make good secretaries.
Isn't that nice? How many of you have heard that one before? How many of you think she read the right sign?
I don't.
Which sign did you read?
The one that says blue eyes make good secretaries.
You read that once? She thought we didn't hear you.
If I have but one life, let me live it as a brown.
Now, we're making progress here, right? When she read that sign, and you lied to me. 1, 2, 3. You read that sign. And he read this one. You lied to me.
I was unsure.
How many of you think she sounded unsure?
She knew what she was talking about.
She knew what she was talking about. How many of you think she's lying now? How many of you think she was finding excuses for making a mistake before? And was willing to say, he read before me the last time, that's the reason I asked. Did he read before her the last time?
Not at all.
That's why I asked.
What's why you asked?
I was unsure who had gone first.
That isn't
So
what you
I
said
asked
before.
him.
That isn't what you said before. You said, he read before you. And you said, yeah, I guess I did. Duh. Well, probably did. I may have. Is this a slow group? Do you know the physical aspects of the listening skills?
I believe not.
Do you?
No.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay, what are they? You're sitting up straight, so you've got one already, right?
You should look at the person who's talking and sit up straight or have open body posture.
Open body posture is crossed legs?
No.
No, no. Aren't you going to be a good listener then? There, now, this is open body posture. Shouldn't your legs be apart if they're open?
Why?
Not necessarily.
Like that. Hey, I'm here.
Not necessarily because
Bring it
a
on, honey. I'm ready
crossed
now.
body position.
Now, does that make sense, what you just said?
A crossed body position gives the effect that you are not open to what someone is saying. But when people's body position...
Wait a minute, stop. I'm going to make a sign and hold it up in front of you that says, stop when you get too wordy, and you just did. Do you know the physical aspects of the listening skills?
Apparently not.
Apparently not. Oh, I don't think you do. You certainly don't have an open body posture. Do you know the physical aspects of the listening skills?
No.
No. Do you?
No, Miss Elliott.
But you got a real open body posture, don't you, darling?
I guess so.
So you can learn, can't you?
I'll try.
You'll try. You might be one of the good ones, right? Now, when your hand is up, it means you're not thinking about what is being said. You're thinking about what you're going to say. You blue-eyed people think that I look angry. You're the only ones who think I look angry. I don't look angry to these brown-eyed people. Perception is everything. White people look vicious and ugly and non-caring and cruel and arrogant and powerful and condescending and angry. Are you angry?
No.
Oh, good for you. You angry?
Trying not.
Trying not to be. Now, does that take a lot of energy?
Yes.
Yes. Are you holding it in?
Yes.
Yes. And are you trying really, really hard not to react to me?
Yes.
Yes. And are you trying really hard not to look at me?
At the moment, yes.
Yes. Why?
Because I don't want to make myself more upset.
You don't want to make yourself more upset by looking at me.
Yes.
Right. Does that take a lot of time, a lot of energy?
Yes.
Yes. Is that hard for you?
Yes.
Could you develop an ulcer over this?
No.
If you had to do it every day, what would happen to your blood pressure?
It would rise.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? I'm hoping that you're doing great from wherever you watch me from. As you know, I'm your host and presenter, Eugene Talk Stories. So let's have a chat about this. We need to have a chat about this. As usual, my presentation would be, you know how we do it. We learn, we refresh, and we discuss about these issues. Now, you watch the video. From watching the video, what was especially revealing about the experiment was how rapidly the children changed their behavior. Those labeled as inferior performed worse academically, became withdrawn, and expressed anxiety. Conversely, those labeled superior began to boast, insult, and exert power over their classmates. Elliot didn't need years of historical programming to create division. She only needed a few hours of manipulated social rules. These reflected exactly how racism functions in society. It is institutional, it is systematically reinforced, and quickly internalized by individuals when the environment supports it. And you also the reaction of all those kids, how they try to do this. So a couple of things that we could learn from. Now, a significant moment in Eliot's follow-up studies involved white adults breaking down in tears when they were subjected to the same unfair treatment black people endure regularly. These individuals, placed an inferior group based on an eye color, suddenly found themselves silenced, insulted, and dismissed. Within minutes, they began showing signs of emotional distress, and some became visibly angry or weeping. Right? This short experience gave them a mere glimpse into the daily struggles of racially marginalized groups, and yet their reactions underscores how deeply sheltered many white individuals are from realities of systemic racism. You need to get that right. Also, the crying, the frustration, and breakdown experienced by the white participants weren't just about being treated unfairly. They were confrontation with something more profound. And what's that? It's the realization that they had never been made to feel powerless because of something they couldn't change. Elliot was not humiliating. You need to understand that. She was not humiliating them. What he was doing, he was trying to offer them a taste of what many black individuals endure for a lifetime. Our goal was not to make white people suffer, but to disrupt their ignorance by allowing them to feel what structural injustice actually does to the human psyche and identity. I think one of the greatest things that I need to learn, because they were just subjected to this within few hours, but you could see their reaction. So imagine the magnitude of racism that black people endure, because this is something that happens to them on a daily basis. Some even worse. It happens to them every time because of the people that they interact with, the people that they meet. So it's different to them. It's not the same as other groups that also face or go through the same thing. I'm also going to be talking about one of Eliot's most important deductions is that racism is not innate. It is taught. Everyone is born a blank slate, according to John Locke, a sociologist who once said that everyone is born a blank slate, but the environment plays a vital role in shaping how we think, in shaping how we perceive life. See things like racism, see things like marriage, right? All these things are being inflicted into us by society, but before we were born, we are all blank slates. So one of the most important deduction that racism is not an innate, it is something which is taught. Often through subtle cultural cues, family attitudes, and social institutions, children do not come into the world hating anyone based on skin color. They absorb these attitudes from their environments. Eliot has consistently emphasized that white children are not born white supremacists, but they are often raised in setting consciously or unconsciously that normalize the idea of what superiority and black inferiority is. Therefore, addressing racism begins in home, particularly through the behaviors and values that parents pass on. And I'll be stressing on, especially parents, the role that they do or what they do to make these seem to be what it is, because you realize that your kid becomes you because they spend a lot of time with you even before them going to school. Well, I understand they might inherit this from other kids also in school, but remember, all those students come at home, which means that they're still learning all these things at home. Now, we need to understand that parenting plays a critical role in either perpetuating or dismantling racist ideologies. When parents fail to talk about race or encourage silence around it, children may interpret racial differences through the lens of media stereotypes or peer biases. Alternatively, when parents make casual racist jokes, express discomfort around people of different backgrounds, or enforce radical segregated social patterns, children learn to see whiteness as the norm and blackness as the other. In many white families, there is an implicit message of racial superiority based on not, though open, aid, but through silence, denial, and avoidance. And I think I was trying to address this when I was saying that you realize that in many white families, racism is not a thing. They're not being sensitized. They're not being taught about this. While at the black families, a kid is taught and told that they are not treated the same in their society, right? And this explains why we are seeing or having a lot of insensitive cases from white students and how they treat black students, right? This is something that, it's happening because of insensitivity. Parents being an avoidant, trying to avoid all those discussions because to them, racism doesn't exist. But this is something that is in the fabrics of the United States. The United States, racism is embedded into the institutions, the structures, how the air we breathe. We start to ask you, is it white or black? Is it Latino? Is it African American? Is it Black American? Right? So these are factors that I feel like white parents, especially during parenting, they should equip their kids with being culturally sensitive in how they deal with these factors. I feel like that is important. Also, I like to talk about in black and marginalized communities, parenting often includes preparing children for a world that will treat them unfairly. And I think I've talked about this. This includes difficult conversations about how to interact with police, how to handle racial slurs, and how to succeed in society that may not recognize their worth. Jane Elliott's work shows that white parents don't typically have to prepare their children for these challenges, and this lack of awareness contributes to what is called white fragility. D'Angelo talked about this white fragility. You go check it out. Also, an important speech that she shares. White fragility is the inability to withstand even minor discomfort when confronted with racial truths. As long as white families are not confronting the structures of their own privilege, racism will continue to be perpetuated in the next generation. You just know that. Just know that that will happen. And it lives, and it's here, right? So, I'm also going to be talking about Jane Elliott's exercise also reveals how deeply unexamined privilege enables racism to flourish. The white students' surprise at being mistreated shows how protected they had been from the realities of bias. This protection is what fuels denial. If one has never faced discrimination, it is easy to question whether racism even exists. Elliott's simulation forced white participants to experience the emotional and social exhaustion that black individuals navigate daily. And in doing so, it unmasked the psychological blindness that privilege creates. It taught that to benefit from a system while denying its existence itself an act of complicity. And this was so powerful because I remember when she later on came back and talked about being threatened by people, that how could she treat the students like that? But look at it critically. This is something that she had to do to prove a point and to prove to them that this is something that really exists. The genius of Eliot's work lies in how it translates systemic racism into personal experience. Rather than intellectualizing race theory or debating statistics, she made participants feel the weight of injustice. This experiential learning cut through defensiveness and ideology, laying bare the emotional violence of racism, and it revealed something crucial. Empathy can only arise when people step outside their protected identity and enter, even momentarily, into the lived realities of the oppressed. This is something lectures alone cannot achieve. It's why Eliot's work remains so powerful decades later. So what can we conclude about all this? Jane Eliot's blue eyes, brown eyes experiment or exercise is not just a classroom lesson. It is a mirror held up to American society. It proves that racism is a construct sustained by ignorance, habit, and power. It shows how quickly humans can adopt to oppressive behavior when systems reward it. Most importantly, it highlights the responsibility of adults, especially parents, to teach children the truth about race, fairness, and humanity. If racism is learned, then it can be unlearned, but only if families, schools, and institutions are willing to face discomfort, confront their own roles in maintaining inequality, and commit to transforming the next generation through the truth, empathy, and justice. That's when racism can be killed. I'm your host and presenter, Ejidok Stories. Kindly let me know what you think about this video. If you're watching us for the first time, I'll most definitely say thank you. Kindly consider subscribing to the channel, join our membership, and really get to see what we can offer you. But until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.